Right, hello lads and lasses, welcome back to Boys Down Under, where yet again, it's the morning after Celtic have dropped points yet again, this time at home and to the hands of Dundee United. So we have some key points to talk about, and I'll talk about them individually rather than just going on some unchronological tangent about the game as a whole. I'm gonna specifically highlight key points that I want to talk about from the game. Before we get into the video though, please remember or consider subscribing to the channel. It's free, it's easy, and if you aren't subscribed, please click it. And if you think you are subscribed, just double check, because YouTube from time to time likes to remove subscribers, and it's a pain in the ass for me, and I'm sure it's a pain in the ass for you guys who don't get the notifications. But without further ado, let's get into it. So the first point I want to make, and I'm doing it first, not because it's the most important, but because I just want to get it out of the way, the refereeing from that match. Now, I've watched a lot of football. I've seen a lot of live football. I've seen a lot on the telly. But that performance by Kevin Clancy, oh my days. Oh my days. That has to be up there with one of the worst I've seen in my lifetime. Now, don't think I'm blaming the draw on Kevin Clancy. I'm not saying that Celtic dropped points all because of Kevin Clancy. I'm just saying that he made it extremely much harder. That's the worst grammatical sentence I could have used, but you get the gist. He made it so much harder for Celtic to try and get that winner. But at the end of the day, it's still down to Celtic. But I'm still going to talk about this refereeing, because this isn't just me saying it from a biased Celtic fan's perspective. There was a moment in the first half where Dundee United got denied a clear penalty, and a lot of people are going to say it's not a penalty, but it is a penalty at the end of the day. I do refereeing. That's a penalty. But I'm not going to hold on that, because their goalkeeper kicked Abada. He literally went out, striked his leg out, put his studs up into Abada's abdomen. We all saw it happen. That warrants a straight sending off. That isn't a footballing tackle. He's lashed out. He's made an it's striking. The charge is striking. That is a red card. He should be sent off for that. And how he got away without even a booking or a foul absolutely baffles me. It absolutely baffles me how the referee or the linesman, none of them can see that, how they can be so incompetent to see that. It's so poor. And then furthermore than that, the amount of brash challenges that Dundee United went into, reckless challenges, studs up, and I think they got maybe one yellow card the whole game, and that was for time wasting. It just baffles me how they get away with all this. Celtic barely got fouls. The amount of challenges that went in against Celtic, the amount of injuries Celtic picked up from that, the amount of knocks and bruises, it's so detrimental to us as a club. And the fact they get away scot-clean with it is so poor. Kevin Clancy did such a bad job as referee in this game. And furthermore, the amount of fouls he called against Celtic weren't even fouls. Yes, some of them were. Some of them were dumb, stupid fouls committed by Celtic, 100%. But some of them were so blatantly fair challenges. And the amount of fouls he didn't call against Dundee United, like I just said, oh, it was so poor. I was fuming about how poor of a performance it was from Kevin Clancy. And look, the thing with Kevin Clancy is he doesn't hate Celtic. He's just plain and utterly stupid. I don't know why he's still a referee. Or I don't even know why VAR isn't a thing in Scotland, because if VAR was a thing in Scotland, it would be a much fairer game, especially for Celtic. But we're not going to dwell on it any longer. Let's move on. So, into my second point, and my second point is Albian Ajeti. Albian Ajeti would win the World Championships for hide and seek because of how long he goes missing for in games. He has become so lazy that it has gotten to the point when he finally gets his golden chance, when he finally gets a tap in, he scuffs it from 2 meters out and he puts it over the crossbar. Like, how do you do that? How on earth are you able to put it over the crossbar from 2 meters out? It's baffling. Even an under 6 would be able to put it into the back of the net here. And it's so baffling because he's gotten worse. He's gotten so much worse since that first game after the international break against Ross County. He scored 2 goals in that game. Then he went to scoring 1 goal against Real Betis. And after that, he just hasn't scored since. Albian Ajeti cannot put the ball in the netty. It's over. It's done. And you know what? I don't know how he stayed on the pitch for the full 90 minutes. And that's what leads me into my third point. Because my third point is what happened to our last substitution. Celtic were forced into making 2 subs into the match. We had to make one for Sorrow for McCarthy and also one for Monty for Juranovic. And where did that final substitution go? Because it is clearly on Ange. I don't like criticizing Ange Postecoglou. I love the man. I think he's got a tactical genius. But what on earth is he thinking? He has got, with Albian and Ajeti not on the field, the game becomes an 11v10. He's just non-existent. He doesn't have an impact of presence. And if so, it's detrimental to Celtic. So why, oh why, did you not bring on Owen Moffat? Owen Moffat has been one of, not if the best players in Tommy McIntyre's B-side this year. He impressed heavily in pre-season. He's a winger, okay? He's a winger, and the thing with the winger is that wingers can't always play striker. But the fact is, the matter is, we've seen him. He's a proven goal scorer. I've seen him play. He's a proven goal scorer. I think he's got 9 goals in the B side right now and 2 assists. And even if you don't want to play him at striker, Liel Abada, also a proven goal scorer, could easily slot him into that centre role. And I honestly feel either of those 2 players, Moffat or Abada, you put either of them on, they're so energetic, so lively, that they will make such an impact at that striker role. And I cannot believe Ajeti stayed on for those full 90 minutes. Cool, okay, he can press defenders. So what? He's got a bit of stamina. He can't do it in attack. And attack, goals win games. Celtic couldn't score. We hit the post 3 times. So unfortunate. But the fact of the matter is, Ajeti blew the game. 110%. I'm sick of him being at striker, and I'm sick of him being in the team. Put him back on the bench. Get Abada up at striker. Get Owen Moffat up at striker. Bring one of the B players up. It doesn't faze me. Just someone who will have more of an impact than Albian and Ajeti. Now, breathe. Now we get into my 4th point, the penultimate point. This one, it's going to be me dissing another player because it's Ismaila Soro. Why on earth is Ismaila Soro still in this team? Someone please tell me, because he is nothing but a liability. Last year, everyone, including myself, was singing his praises, wanted him in the team, wanted Bruni out of the team for Soro. And this year, he's just lost all his ability. He's going brash into challenges. He cannot read the game from a defensive or offensive standpoint. And look, when he gets the ball at his feet, he cannot play a pass more than 2 meters. Because in 2 meters range, okay, he can play a nice short pass. Cool, good for you. But when it gets further than that, he cannot play a pass without endangering the welfare of his fellow teammates by not playing a hospital ball. It's a hospital ball or it's nothing, or he turns around, gives the ball away, and Celtic get counter-attacked. So frustrating. Saying sorry, and the amount of challenges, the amount of stupid fouls he gave away in that game was so frustrating to see. Like, it literally was grinding my gears to a whole nother level. It was so poor, and I don't know what to think about him. Like, you've got Liam Shaw, who could do an absolute job in that midfield. Celtic don't need a CDM there. Liam Shaw could easily just hold and push up. He's got the fitness, he's got the stamina. I don't know why he isn't being played. So, and if we're not going to play Liam Shaw, honestly, McCarthy, I will start praying to God to have you fit, or McGregor, back, either one of you, just be in the team, please, because I cannot, if we play Sorrow against Leverkusen, start Sorrow against Leverkusen, we're going to be in for such a tough time, like more of a tough time than we already will be. It's going to be a shit show. That's my point. Now, into my 5th and final point, and I don't want this to drag on too much. I want this to be, somewhat short and sweet enough for you guys to watch, because at the end of the day, I can rant on here for as long as I want, but there's no good use in me ranting and just being angry at the team, because nothing's going to improve by me doing that. It's just a way for me to vent my anger. So I'm ending this and this final point on a lighter note. And because there's no point crying over spilled milk, there's point in it getting very angry over it for a shorter period of time, but there's no point crying over it. So what I'm going to talk about here is, and very briefly, is how bright the future is for Celtic. Now, what I mean, and I'm going to have to do a bit of explaining for this, because I'm going to list 5 players. Jota, Abada, Turnbull, Cameron Carter-Vickers, and Adam Montgomery. 5 players who were all heavily involved in the game last night. Now, these 5 players, if you haven't noticed already, are 23 years old or younger. Cameron Carter-Vickers is 23, David Turnbull is 22, so is Jota, Jota's 22, Abada's 19, and so is Monty. He's also 19. Now, 3 of these players are contracted to Celtic for the foreseeable future. David Turnbull, Monty, and Abada all got contracts that last quite a while. I think it's another 3 years maybe for each of them. And the other 2 are on loan, but we have the option to buy them. And I am 100% certain those options to buy will be triggered. 110%. Now, these are players who are going to define the future for Celtic. These players, since the international break, have been consistently the best players on the pitch for Celtic. And they've been the standouts in such a poor Celtic team. Monty brings so much life and energy to that left-back spot. Jota, a revelation for Celtic. I have not seen a player with that much skill and drive in Celtic's team before this year. It's a wonder to see. Abada, 19 years old, and he's doing the things he does at 19. Incredible. Okay, David Turnbull, 22 years old. People forget how young he is and how much of a baller he is in that midfield. He's what runs the midfield right now. He's an absolute, he's just a love David Turnbull. And then Cameron Carter-Vickers saved the arse of Tony Ralston and Starfelt so many times last night. Such a presence in defense. He's built like a brick shithouse. The man better stay with Celtic. Celtic better trigger the clauses of Cameron Carter-Vickers and Jota because the future is bright for Celtic. And honestly, these young players are so good, so energetic. They have so much drive and will and wanting to play for Celtic. It's so great to see. And I can't wait to see what the future holds for them and also the other players who are still young but are still developing, like Owen Moffat, like Tony Ralston. Still young players. Stephen Welsh even. Forgot about Stephen Welsh. These are young players who are breaking into the first team, making their mark on the first team, and they should be at Celtic for years to come. Celtic are having great youth products, and hopefully Ange Postecoglou can build something out of it. That's my final point. I wanted to end it on a light note. I was probably speaking straight out of my ass, but it is what it is. But that is all from me. So, look, remember to subscribe. That is all from me, however. I'm saying it again. So, until next time, hail, hail.